Hey guys, what's up? This is Ritesh and welcome to the second video of Building MVC Framework from scratch. So in the last video we left off in the basic basic folder structure here, excuse me. So in this structure we have 5 folders and a text file, a PHP file. Now what I've done is imported into my Sublime Text projects. So as you can see on the right side, I can see my entire project, and index.php as you can see is empty, and every other folder is also empty. On the right side I've opened my directory website on my localhost server. I'm running WAMP server. You cannot see that. I'm running WAMP server, and you can see in my Chrome browser I'm currently at index.php opening. And so let's first test if everything's working out correctly. I am gonna write a simple PHP hello world application. So if you don't know PHP, I recommend you watching a video before jumping into this tutorial in this series. So go ahead, there are tons of videos out there, amazing videos. You can learn them quite easily. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you can see that hello world appears on my browser. So if hello world does not appear in your browser and there is something wrong with your configuration, make sure you're using localhost rather than opening the file directory in your browser. That is one of the common mistakes people do. So in our case our application is working, so we're gonna go ahead with this video. Alright, so for this video we will be configuring our web server to accept any kind of data from the URL, and basically we don't want the server to show a 404 page whenever the user writes anything. We want to configure our server according to our needs. So right now if I type anything here, like say about, you should see a not found 404 error. If you don't see that, I don't know what to say about that. You should see that. Alright, so what we want is when we write about or anything, any random string, it should not show 404 not found error according to itself. We should be able to configure it so that we can build multiple paths to multiple files. We don't need to maintain a directory such that when the user types about.html, there should be a file name about.html in our directory. It doesn't have to be that way. So what we could do is create a new file. It's called .htaccess file. It's a configuration file which is used to configure our web server demands for our application. Now the name should be exactly the same. It should be htaccess for there should be a dot before the htaccess. Make sure it's exactly the same. It's all lowercase. Alright, the commands I'm gonna write in this file should be exactly copied exactly the same, and it's case sensitive, so make sure you write exactly the same. I will link the file in the description so that you can all copy it, or I'm just gonna keep copy the text here. Okay, I'll think about it later. Alright, so the first command we will write is RewriteEngine on. Now this command will allow us to turn the engine on so that we can configure it. This needs to be the first command, and it should be written in the .htaccess file. Alright, the second command is to allow tell the engine what is the base or our application, like when you, in this case it should be you can call it a domain. When you go to google.com, your domain name is google.com. You can write anything after that, but your home address is google.com. Like in this case, for localhost application, our localhost is the home address, but for our application, this is our home address. So you don't need to specify localhost, so we just need to copy this part here which is the our name of the directory, and set it as our home address. So anything, any redirection that it has to be done, it any direction it would do, our server do, it will redirect to our home directory and into our index.php file. So any change we make goes to our index.php file. The third thing we need to do is to write a regular expression which allows us to capture anything after the first slash after our home address, and anything that appears after the slash will be passed to our index.php file. So you need to copy, if you don't know a regular expression, just copy it exactly like I'm writing here. It should work out fine for you, and I will try to explain it a little bit, but okay, we should. Okay, so this is the our regular expression part. It defines the start of a regular expression, this defines the end of a regular expression, and these are the capturing groups. So anything in between gets copied and pasted here. So what this is doing is basically dot operator is used to capture any character. It could be a special character, it could be an alphanumeric character. Anything you write in this after this part will be captured here and it will be copied here. And star operator basically copy a stream of these characters, excuse me. So basically if you write about, dot will only read a, but dot star will read entire about word. Okay, so what it would do is capture it here and call the index.php with a get parameter of URI and pass it the value of the captured area. Okay, so I'm gonna save this thing, and right now it will you remember that we wrote about here. So if we wrote about here, you should be redirected back to our index.php file. If it does that, that means your htaccess is completely working. If it does not work, there is something wrong with your installation. Okay, so as you can see, I can write any random set of characters and it is redirected back to our home page. Now this is great, but we don't want a single page in our application. So what we're gonna do is basically, rather than hello world, we're gonna print the captured area which is returned back to us. So if I can refresh it, you can see that I got the captured area here. So if I write about here, you can see about, and this one error right here that if the user does not write anything, basically it's going to our home directory, then it shows nothing here. So we're gonna change that here. So what we're going to do, first check if the get parameter is set to make sure that there is no error in the get part of the that we are given the captured area. Also we're gonna make sure that it's not empty, so that it is, and if it's not empty and it is given to us, we will print the URI, otherwise we will print home, because we will always be at home if there is no URI given. So if I refresh here, you can see home. If I write about here, you should see about. Now you can, now I'm sure most of you can see that how can we build multiple pages out of this. So if I write switch condition here with the get parameter, and I can define multiple pages here, like about page, it will echo about page. And same for the contact page. So if I refresh the page, you could see that about page is printed out. That means we can write any sort of completely templates and combine them together using this part of the redirection. Okay, so this is our tutorial for today, and in the next tutorial we will covering more about this routing system, and we'll build our entire routing system of classes so that we can easily configure our application. Like we can easily write about, and this controller needs to be passed for this specific URI. So I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day.